Hey there, Delight here. I decided to share another altered book with you today. These are things that I made before I started junk journals, and I thought it would be something you might enjoy. This is one that was made from an old hardcover book. The pages are intact except for what I had to remove for what I added to bulk, because it's about the same thickness it was originally. So some pages were removed because I added things in. And this book is called Troubled Times. It was made in 2009. I lived in Cleveland then and belonged to an altered bookbinding group in Cleveland of very talented artists. I learned so much about bookbinding and making books, and really enjoyed that time while I was there. So what I did was this was for to display in a museum. They had a contest, and so I made this for there, and it was on display there in Cleveland at the museum. And what I did was I picked, and it's called an artist's view of troubled times. Troubled times was the theme of the display at the museum, so it had to somehow relate to that. So this was my book, which is an artist's view, and I used an upholstery fabric, very, very textural to cover it. I made these little tags that are made out of felt on cardboard, and I made these copper foiled words on them. It's past, present, and future. And found this trim and glued it over top of some copper ribbon. I used copper and metals and golds in here. This is obviously this was a white paper with gold dots, so I inked gold behind it to use it. This is a handmade paper, and again I found some fiber at a yarn shop in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and I put that around for dimensional interest, and then I added brads to it just to add the metals because I was going to use the metals. This effect I did before I glued the two pages together. I added eyelets, punched holes and added eyelets all around the sides, and then I used this same beautiful yarn that I got, and I did like the string drawings that were so popular then, that you would have the nails and make the string go back and forth to make a design. So basically that's the technique that I used, but I ran it through the eyelets to give it some dimension and a little interest. This is copper ribbon with some more, again, fiber. I used a lot of fibers in here. Another handmade paper that I put ink over it. And the theme for this, I used a part of the Ulysses poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and I picked a couple of the sentences out of it, and they're the highlighted ones that I met. And it's, all times I have enjoyed, greatly have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. I am part of all that I have met. And that's really how I feel about life. I think that through good times and bad times, the people that you meet and the experiences you have are what shapes you into who you are. So this was the take that I took on troubled times. Not that they were always bad, but that even though they were difficult, they shaped you into who you are. So I have some things that we do. And the first one was we share, because we share troubled times. We share good times, we share troubled times. I made these faces out of Fimo plastic and then made them into copper. This is a standard altered book panel. I glued lots of pieces together so I could cut these little tiny boxes and mounted the faces inside there. And again, I got copper discs and copper tags, and I put fear, grief, anger, despair, hatred, sorrow. some of the emotions that we have in troubled times that we share with other people. And this was kind of dark, so I used dark ribbons. I maintained that fiber because I wanted that to carry through the whole thing. And I added some gold on this one because I believe that even dark clouds have some kind of a lining, maybe not silver, but there's something in there for us to learn from. These are the sad faces. And then these are tragedy and comedy faces, sort of the masks. I have daughters who are in theater, and so those are the kind of things I enjoy working with. Again, this is a handmade paper. I used the same fiber again, made some little circles out of copper wire, and put tags in again, similar to what was on the front, but these are from handmade paper. And I have still, smiling with the S one way, serving with a different kind of S, and a different S again for sharing. Still, smiling, serving, sharing helps. This one is sort of an attitude thing. Again, I carried the copper and the fibers, and it has abundance may end, but a breath, a meal, some clothes can keep us going. And these I did with inks and cut the pages down and then adhered the pages together, because through the troubled times, when you have the basics, and you have a little bit to eat and you have clothes to wear and you can keep going, and I have, this is love. So it's not just a meal and some clothes, it's also love. And all of those things go together, and as long as you have a little bit of them, you can keep going until the times get better. I really like this page. It obviously has the green ink, and again, this is a different fiber, but through the same fiber shop, from the same shop. And this one's kind of hard. This one's kind of hard to read. It's made out of the those like label maker things that they have, and it has reach out, teach them peace, or they teach them peace and comfort. They will take comfort. I'm sorry, my eyes are, as you know, one of the things I'm having with my eyes. That's one reason I'm changing what I do. These kind of things I can't do anymore. It's one reason I want to show them to you is to let you know that if you, like I, are starting to lose your fine motor skills, and maybe I have macular degeneration, so if you're starting to not see as well, you still can convert and keep doing creative things. I can't do these anymore, but I can do junk journals, and I can enjoy junk journals and enjoy the creative process at the point I am now. This one, it has, from the message out of the Bible, it has stoop down and reach out to those who are oppressed and share their burdens. And I really feel that way, that when times are bad, if you don't focus on how bad they are for you, but find other people even worse off, it helps lift you up. This is one that has like a whitewashed back, and again with the metals, and it has every person needs, and I have to love, to be loved, and to have a purpose for your life. This one, I wanted to carry the tags through the whole book too. The metals, the tags, the fibers. As you can see, there's continuity, and I like the continuity. And this one has just some emblems on it that sort of tied it all together. And again, this is the same Alfred Lord Tennyson poem, but it's at the end of the poem, and I chose these sentences. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. We are made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to survive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. And I feel like that's a real good philosophy to have in life. The back was done exactly as the same, and identified the year when I made it. So these are the kind of things that set me off on my paper arts journey. I'm glad you watched. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you can do these kind of things, your skills are still such that you can, I encourage you. This one caught the attention of the editors of Altered Arts Magazine, a national magazine, and it was featured in as one of the main feature in one of their issues. So it got a little bit of accolade, and that's always kind of nice, but it doesn't matter. Obviously, it's a part of me, it's a part of who I am, it's a part of what I've done. Enough said.